Okay, my microphone is on. Hello everybody, welcome to a brand new video, and today I'm going to be telling you what I think about the Mimic. It's actually a theory, I meant to say a theory, about the Mimic and what was in the box. Because I think what was in that box was the Mimic's blueprints. And look at this image, and you can see that the box has, it looks just like the one from FNAF 4. Now, if we think about it, this doesn't mean the ending is canon, because the bad ending could also be the one with the fire and all the burning flames and stuff. Yeah, that could have been the canon ending as well, but when we think about it, the Mimic could have had a whole system tied up to the Pizzaplex. Now, think about it. It could have knew where you were. It knew where you were before, in the underground section, when you're approaching the Freddy head. He knows where you are. The Mimic can hear you, or see you, and it gets alerted whenever you step in there. Now, think about if it could have saw everything. It was at every location, because it could have been William Afton, and think about what was in William Afton's house was this locked box. Now, the FNAF 4 box hasn't been opened, but you know what it could have been inside of it? The data diver. Because the data diver is literally in the name, a data diver. And it could have dove into the data of the Mimic's programming, and the Mimic could have been using this programming to put it in the other animatronics, so it could be everywhere all at once. But it doesn't want Fazbear Entertainment to know about it, because the Mimic wants to be left alone. It doesn't want to be a tool. I will explain how William Afton could have been taken over by the Mimic, but the evidence is the most biggest piece of evidence is the Mimic isn't seen till Security Breach, and it was made in the 70s before most things in Five Nights at Freddy's. Now think about if the code was stored on this data diver and it still had everything, because it could have downloaded the Mimic's blueprints, but it also could have downloaded the Mimic's coding. And this coding has every single location and all of the history of Freddy's through the eyes of the Mimic. Now, think to why Fazbear Entertainment would want that, and it's because they went bankrupt. They have to have that data diver, because this time they have gone bankrupt. And there's nothing there to, build upon, unless they had something from the past to help them reframe Freddy Fazbear's back into history, but they don't remember their history because it's been years. Now, think about how many years Mimic was around, and think about if it was in Afton's body in FNAF 6, it would have burnt up. They couldn't rebuild it from the Mimic's body. So how would they get a hold of all this history and the Mimic? Well, think about it. They could have rebuilt the Mimic, but they also needed its memory, and they could have downloaded its memory to put it in the other animatronics. Like I said, when they scanned the codes from the VR to the VR game, it could have been when they opened this box and they decided that the Mimic's blueprints were finally found. But it could have been all replicas in the security breach. We see replica posters of Fredbear's Family Diner, but these went all the way back from to the Secret of the Mimic. How would they even last that long? They would have stains on them. They wouldn't have lasted that long. And Fredbear's Family Diner was barely remembered in FNAF 2. Now think, if this box was open, it does contain all the elements. Andy Matronic, I'll give her credit for finding this, because not finding this, making a theory that what was in the box was all the elements of each game. And I'm pretty sure that's who it was that said that. But that's not why I made this theory. It was just because of the other evidence. But I'm saying, as I look back at it, she was right about this whole thing. It's literally all the elements, but physically. I guess she meant more hypothetically, instead of actually physically there. But anyway, if this diver was stored in that box, they could get everything back, dating back to Edwin's workshop. And Edwin's workshop had everything burnt and destroyed. So there was nothing they could rebuild upon or remember from his workshop. And because everyone who saw the workshop died, and everyone who saw the mimic died, so this workshop would have just disappeared off the map unless it had some sort of cameras which the mimic could have connected to and been connected to all the technology in Edwin's workshop. Now, as well, the technology is really advanced, and we see the Phaz wrench look exactly like this data diver, showing that there's a big connection here. And that is, it's remaking the past, because they finally found all their years of history, because they forgot pretty fast about their years of history, because it was about making business. Now think about all the tech in the Pizzaplex. It is big. In the books, I have a book pulled up right now, and it's a comic, but it shows us all the technology in the Pizzaplex. There's AR and roller coasters built really big and high in the sky, doors that automatically open. Everything in the security breach books, though, are still modern day. They're not over the top with technology, but that's because Edwin was really smart and good with coming up with ideas. So they could have reused the technology from all the way back then. So that is my theory. Yes, I over-explained it a little, but yeah. Guys, bye. Leave a like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.